chance to finish as the 5 seed. And then there are the Golden State Warriors. In a 3-way tie with the Grizzlies and Timberwolves, they're fighting to avoid the play-in. Golden State closes the season against the Clippers, a game with major playoff implications. David, who is the most dangerous team heading into the playoffs?
To me, it's still the Golden State Warriors. I mean, for the reasons I mentioned before, you have 3 guys on that roster, 3 veterans on that roster who, as well as they're playing right now, they are only going to get better come playoff time. We've seen what Steph Curry does in these playoff level scenarios, those 3 games in a row against Memphis, against the Lakers, against the Nuggets, where he averaged 43 points. You add in the fact that playoff Jimmy Butler is on the horizon, and what he does is he allows that Warriors team to be a plus team when Stephen Curry is not playing, and that is a huge marker for this team for their success if you can let him rest. Then you add in the Draymond Green of it all, playing the Defensive Player of the Year level where he is right now. This Warriors team is equipped to win in the way that they have won, which is Draymond anchoring that defense, some depth, and Stephen Curry going nuclear. I think they are still the most dangerous team that nobody wants to face in that Western Conference.
David, you know what? My grandpa used to say stuff about people like you. You know what I mean? You got a hard head, but it's going to make a soft ass in a minute. Because let me tell you something. The disrespect to OKC.
My mama used to say I got a hard head too, so I feel you.
Yeah, but the disrespect has to stop. Let me read this to you. The Oklahoma City Thunder defense leads their first in defensive rating, first in half-court defense, first in rim protection, first in defense versus on-ball screens, first in defense versus drives, first in defense versus isolations, first in defense deflections per game, first in steals per game, first in opponent's turnover rate, first in points per game off of turnovers. Did you just hear that? That resume is long as hell defensively. Defense win you championships. When you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder and their depth, it's not a drop-off with them defensively. From the superstar on down, especially on the perimeter. When you look at Wallace, Luke Dort, Isaiah Joe, SGA, J-Dub, all of those guys can slide their feet. And then on top of that, you have the chemistry that's there between Chet Holmgren, first in defense deflections per game, first in steals per game, first in opponent's turnover rate, first in points per game off of turnovers. Did you just hear that? That resume is long as hell defensively. Defense win you championships. When you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder and their depth, it's not a drop-off with them defensively. From the superstar on down, especially on the perimeter. When you look at Wallace, Luke Dort, Isaiah Joe, SGA, J-Dub, all of those guys can slide their feet. And then on top of that, you have the chemistry that's there between Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. I've been noticing the big-to-big passing. They could play together on the floor. If you want to go small and move Chet to the 5, you could do that as well. But most importantly, they have home court advantage. And if anybody know how loud that arena gets and electrifying that arena is during the postseason, I know. I played in that arena. You remember back in the day they had like that meter and people couldn't hear themselves talk because it was so rowdy in there? That's what happens in OKC. OKC is still the most dangerous team in the Western Conference when it comes down to them making noise and getting to the NBA Finals.
So Perk and I agree because like we said earlier in the show, we believe that the Oklahoma City Thunder are the only true title contender coming out of the West. But I think of the word dangerous as kind of like this unexpected team, unexpected thing, like a team that you might not be thinking about nearly enough in the playoff picture as a team that can make a deep run. And Perk, earlier in the show, you talked about the Clippers, and that got my wheels turning because this is a team that's won 13 of its last 15 games, and they've been dominant in the majority of that stretch. And I think it really boils down to the fact that everybody on this roster, whether it's Ivica Zubac, who's playing the best stretch of his career right now. He just had his first career triple-double the other night in that win they had over the Rockets, but 13 straight double-doubles up until that point. He's one of the best interior scorers in the league. You've got Kawhi playing at a healthy Kawhi. Like, let's talk about the playoffs. A healthy Kawhi going into the postseason. That's huge. He's your on-ball creator. He's your shooter. James Harden is playing great basketball. He's your creator. Norman Powell's your spot-up guy. Nobody's being asked to do anything outside of the role in which they are comfortable. So I think as a threat, as one of those teams you would actually be a little fearful of playing because of how well they're playing right now. That's why I consider the Los Angeles Clippers the most dangerous team based within the context of what it means to be dangerous at this time.
I think you're 1,000% right, and I think the context of it matters, and you and Perk saying the same thing on that. I just want to add, because I think the Clippers as well, but maybe for a little bit of a different reason. There are 4 teams by my count that have a head coach and a best player that have won a championship already in their careers, okay? You're talking about Golden State with Steph Curry and Steve Kerr. You're talking about Boston, whoever you deem the best player to be, Tatum or Brown and Joe Mazzulla. Milwaukee, Doc Rivers and Giannis. And the Clippers, Ty Lue and Kawhi Leonard. I don't think you can discount that. Home games, I understand we're talking about role players a lot. Road games, you're talking about the coaches and you're talking about the best players. The Los Angeles Clippers, as a quote-unquote surprise, dangerous team, can go into every single series saying they have the best player and the best coach. Now, the Warriors, David, your team that you picked can do the same thing, right? Like, that's a fair argument. I don't know that Oklahoma City can do that. They're the best team in the league. I'm not doubting that, but they cannot go into every series saying they have the best player and best coach.
Yeah, Perk, let me read a little something, too. Stephen Curry got 4 rings. That's all I need to read. I'll read it off a piece of paper, too. This guy is somebody I trust in the playoffs more than I trust anybody on the OKC Thunder team. Now, back to what Evan and Courtney Cronin are saying. The 1B to that dangerous team is absolutely the Clippers. The only reason I did not put the Clippers above the Warriors, because they are a dangerous team. The only reason I'm putting the Warriors above them is the health issues with Kawhi, and also we cannot discount that there are some fears when James Harden gets into April, May, and June. That is always a thing. The guy is more 4 for 13 games than anybody wants to count. That is a concern with that Clippers team. Now, I do think that they have some things to offset that. Norm Powell can still heat up offensively. Kawhi, when healthy, can offset some of that. But you still have worries about Kawhi's durability in a deep playoff run and James Harden when he comes in the playoffs. But other than that, I'm with you guys. I think that it is Warriors and Clippers as 2 teams in the West that nobody wants to face. So I'm not going to discredit those. I still would put the Warriors a little bit above because I trust them a little bit more.
Oh, so you ain't gonna mention the Denver Nuggets, huh? You've been high on the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic all year long. You gonna ignore them now, huh, David?
So here's the thing.
They're not dangerous anymore.
The Nuggets. Here's the thing about the Nuggets. I'm not going to discredit them. They still have the best player in the world. I have concerns about Jamal Murray and that injury and what he's going to look like coming back. And, of course, I think a team, when you get rid of a coach, they're going to be a little bit worse. The Jamal Murray injury is the big difference from what I said last month when they played against OKC and beat them and what we're seeing now. There's been a little bit of dip in concern. But if you mean to tell me that it's outside the question that Nikola Jokic can go nuclear and can have a run with this Denver Nuggets team, I will put them below the Clippers and the Warriors, but I'm not writing them off.
All I'm saying is we got to stop moving the needle. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep the same energy. We got to keep the same energy that we kept for LeBron James when he was in the Eastern Conference, or he was quote-unquote labeled the best player in the world, right? We didn't give him any excuses. Same with Giannis. When he had his stint of being the best player in the world, we didn't give him any excuses. Same with Steph Curry. We didn't give him any excuses. If Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world, his team still should be dangerous, right, David?
I think they are. I think they still are dangerous. I think they are a dangerous team, but I still would put them a peg below Warriors, Clippers, OKC, and that sort of second tier in the West.
And I think you had your coffee earlier in the show, and then you went and took a shot of hen later in the show.
I tell you, Perk brings up a fantastic point, though. Let's be honest. If LeBron James had a fired coach this late in the season heading into the playoffs, we would say, well, you better do it. Now, it's different. LeBron's played for 10 coaches. This is Jokic's second coach. It's a little different, but I think Perk's point is very fair. If we're going to call Jokic one of the greatest players of all time, which he is, one of the greatest bigs of all time, which he is, a guy that either has won or should have won 4 or 5 MVPs, the fact that it took us 10 minutes to even slip their name in is a very fair point. And, oh, by the way, I don't know how this happened. Did we just all avoid the Lakers? Is that what just that none of us brought up the Lakers as potentially one of the most dangerous teams with LeBron James and Luka?